films of battle report. If you can hear any background noise, that's my son. He's trying to speak, so just ignore him. That's what I do. There he goes again. So today I am playing Richard, and he is using the German D-Day book, using the 116th Division. And I finally get a chance to use the American Bulge book. Looking at the options, was tempted to go all armor, but I do prefer infantry, and the ones that gripped me were the Bastogne Glider Rifle Company and the Bastogne Paratroopers. Did manage to get a list done with paratroopers and with enough points to get Winters, but in the end I dropped them out because I was losing out on 6 bases of infantry, an artillery unit, a Sherman. I did make up for it with an extra Stuart, but that just doesn't cut it. So I went for these, and what my friend Tom said, basically the glider troops are basically American Germans. They're confident 4, last stand 3, skill 3 and hit on 4s, but obviously you can have some massive platoons, and like Germans, you can give them an extra bazooka for a point and an LMG for another point. Oh no, they already have it, and they also have a little mortar as well, so quite good platoons there. So the mission is no retreat, so I'll put a little slide up showing the details of that. So I hope you enjoy this one. Really looking forward to it. So is Richard, going with his preferred German D-Day and also his preferred defensive stance. Okay, so finally getting a chance to run the Bulge Americans myself. So I had 2 lists in mind. The other one was a parachute rifle company, which was pretty much going to be easy company because Richard Winters was getting involved. But I felt I'd rather have a little bit more numbers and artillery. So I've gone with a Bastogne glider rifle company. So not had a chance to run the old glider rifles, but I know Dave did, but their biggest fallback is being hit on 3s, but these guys are careful, so being hit by 4s, so it will be interesting to see how these guys go. So we have the full formation in shot here. So we have the HQ of 2 SMG teams, and then we have 2 full platoons of 10 rifle teams. They have 2 bazookas, a 60mm mortar, and an LMG equipped as well, so plenty of firepower and meat in these platoons. Also in the formation we have 3 105mm howitzers, so I am using the regular artillery to proxy for these, and also 3 81mm mortars. I'll have to get rid of one of these. Okay. And that is the glider rifle company. In support we have a unit of 5 late Shermans, and 2 of these elite Shermans are upgraded to 76mm, and they are also upgraded to 76mm hypervelocity AP, so these are AT-13 now. We also have a unit of 4 Stuarts and a unit of 3 priests, and because I thought, why not, I fancied having an OP, but I didn't have enough points for a Sherman OP. I thought I'd have a Grasshopper. So I've not used a aerial observer before, so hopefully he doesn't get shot down. So that's it. That's my list. So now we'll have a look at Richard's German D-Day list. Okay, so here we have Richard's D-Day list. So he has gone for a Panzer Grenadier company, and it's going to be a Greyhound company. So worst tactics and an atrocious last stand on these fellas. But he has 2 full Panzer Grenadier platoons of 7 teams, and they have Panzerfaust and Panzerschreck. The HQ has Panzerfaust as well. And then he also has a 3rd armoured Panzer Grenadier platoon, again with Faust and Schreck. Also in the formation we have 3 armoured 7.5cm half-tracks, and we have a 2 8cm mortar section as well, and that is the formation, so quite meaty, a lot of shifting. In support we have 2 of the SDKFZ 250 scout troops, we have 2 SS Tigers, 3 Vesps, and then we have 4 8.8cm AA guns, which are going to be 8.8cm assault flak, and they're also going to be pack front. So these are going to be hit on 3s, last stand 5. So not the cream of the crop, this German list, apart from the SS Tigers.
but definitely numbers, but will take a lot of shifting. So that is it for the list, so let's have a look at the board. So here we have today's table, thanks to someone who posted a aerial photograph of, looks like a French village, and I tried to recreate this as best as possible. So far untouched by the ravages of war. With it being, I say, more Belgian now, I took out a lot of the hedgerows from the photo and just put a bit more forests. Still got the fields, but I think this will be an interesting battlefield. Definitely think this should play to Richard's advantage with the amount of infantry he has, but we will see, and I'm looking forward to seeing which sector he wants to defend, and we'll see where I'll be attacking from. Okay, so we deployed, so we'll do me second. So, objective-wise, we have an objective by here, and this is the side that Richard will be defending, and then we have another objective back here in the forest. So, we have the SS Tigers, the Armoured Panzer Grenadier platoon, and a unit of 250 scouts in reserve, and then we have the armoured 7.5cm half tracks in ambush. So pack front wise, we have a pack front here in the street, and then the other two are here. You can just about make them out. So we have a platoon of Panzer Grenadiers here hidden behind this church with their HQ in this building behind. We then have the other platoon mixed up in these buildings, and then their 8cm mortars right behind. And then finally we have the 250 scouts and the Vesps by here. For me, we have quite a globule here. Everything's pushed up as much as I can. So I've got the priests, the Shermans, 1st platoon with the HQ in the building, my 105 howitzers and Stuarts by here. And then everything else is on the other side. So we have my mortar section and 2nd platoon over by here. And that is it. So I have first turn. Good luck, Richard, and here we go. Okay, so we have one startup set thing to film. Will my observer aircraft come in on a 3F? It does on a 5. Movement-wise, 1st platoon with a follow me has occupied this terraced house. HQ with a couple of 1st platoon here as well to give motivation. Stuarts have just driven up to the tree line, and 3 of the Shermans have moved to the 276s and one of the 75s. And 2nd platoon has just done a tactical move, and I might as well do a follow me with them, and I'll do that. And then starting with shooting, I will be doing smoke, but with what? Okay, so shooting was predominantly artillery apart from my tanks having a pop at the pack front. I got 3 hits on him, but didn't kill him, and then I decided to fire my priests directly into the pack front. Needing 6s, I got 1, but because they were brutal, Richard had to reroll his save, which he failed, and then luckily I only needed 2+ firepower, which was finally enough to get rid of the pack front on this flank. I tried ranging in my howitzers here, but failed on all 3 attempts, unfortunately. I then I rearranged in my mortars here, got no hits. This was from my 1st platoon mortars, using the OP to spot for them. 2nd platoon managed to kill a unit here in the farmhouse and pin, more importantly, pin that platoon. Smoke here is from my mortar section, who ranged in right on the corner here, giving me 12 inches of smoke to protect 2nd platoon as they make their way over. And that is it. So now we're going into German turn 1. Okay, so German motivation, no ambush, platoon over here did not rally, but reserves are in. So the Tigers did a road dash going down here, and then failed on a 1 with follow me. So hopefully, like Dave a few weeks before, we can have 1s on motivations for Tigers, and that will be very nice. Thank you very much. So that is it. So now we go into the rest of German movement. Okay, Richard moved a few of the Grenadiers into this building and the rest into this church. The HQ is shuffled along into this building here, and the scout units have moved over to support the left flank. And that is it. So now we're going into German shooting. German shooting, the Vesps have rearranged in here. They have pinned the howitzers. They have pinned 1st platoon and have bailed a Stuart, and I also killed one of the rifle teams. I was in this cafe here. Then this platoon here opened up into the glider troops here in this building, but got no kills. Got a bunch of hits, basically enough to pin them twice, and that is it. So now we go into American turn 2. American motivation, everything has rallied, but this Stuart does not want to get back in his tank, but my OP is back in and he's flying down the streets very low to the ground here, as you can see, very low. And that is it. So now we go into American movement. Okay, American movement. The Stuarts moved around this terrain, just enough movement, so doing a tactical move to get them to be able to draw a line of sight onto these buildings. Glider first platoons moved out because this building should block defensive fire. I can finish off the 2 guys here and also peel off that pack front so they can't move with when it breaks off, so I should capture that this turn. The Shermans did a cross here. One of them still got stuck though. These American dice do like to roll ones every now and again. And second platoon is pushing up on this pack front. Only one who will probably be able to get into assault range is the unit leader and one other guy, because they failed their follow me, but I'm going to have to try and get them in somehow. And that is it. So now we go into American shooting, where yet again I will be doing smoke. Okay, shooting wise, the priests popped a smoke barrage here to stop the Vesps and Tigers getting easy shots in. My OP Grasshopper then got the 10.5s to range in right by here and managed to pick off a Vesp in the process. First platoon mortars and first platoon basically fired everything into his church, pinning this platoon and killing 2 Grenadier teams. Other mortars didn't really do much. This team already pinned, but I did pin the pack front. So it's just the 1 shot coming in for defensive fire. Maybe a few more from the Grenadier teams. Feel like it might be a good idea to do it because I can push the mortars back and maybe get into a better position for the glider team. So we're going into assaults. Okay, over here, no casualties for second platoon and I got rid of the pack front. Over here I lost 3 guys to defensive fire. But I took out all 3 remaining Grenadiers in this building and also the pack front that was here as well. So I've occupied this building, so that is pretty tasty. So we now go into German turn 2. Okay, German motivation, all Panzer Grenadiers have rallied and the armoured Panzer Grenadiers are on their way coming into their battle. So we go into German movement. Okay, German movement, the scouts have moved here tactically. A lot of movement with this platoon here, getting into this little bit here, basically German Rockstrift, but they're unpinned so they can do it. So there's going to be a few that I am still going to get bulletproof cover from. Some might be outside the command range of the unit leader, so the ones in the top floors are going to be the biggest concern, but everyone's moved. Tigers who just bunched up a little bit more behind this terraced house, and you can see the armoured Panzer Grenadiers are here. Vesps have moved out of line of sight, and the platoon that was in the church is now in with the HQ, and then there's one next door. And that is it. So now we're going to German shooting. Okay, German shooting was contained over here. The mortars ranged in on this hill but got no hits. Then the infantry and scout cars wiped out quite a few teams, so at the moment I'm down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rifle teams and the 2 bazookas. And that is it as we go into American turn 3. Okay, American startup step turn 3. Second platoon has rallied over the far corner, but no aircraft coming. Oh, and wait a second here, we have this bailed out Stuart. Will he get back in? He does not on the 3. So that is that. So we go into American movement. Okay, American movement. Stuarts are moving up to try and put fire into this building here. Shermans have moved up. Finally, this guy has got through the tree line. And the first platoon of the gliders, all of them are here, and the HQs in this building to help them out as well. And second platoon is moving more to engage the 8cm mortars in the woods and make our way that way. And that is it for movement. So again, I will be starting with smoke. Okay, so shooting. This is where my smoke went off just to help the assault on that weakened platoon, hopefully. They are pinned. The priest ranged in here and managed to bail one of the half tracks. Over here, my little mortar took out 2 teams and of course pinned this platoon, and then my regular mortars ranged in there as well for no kills. And that is it. My bazookas went off and managed to bail the half track next to the mortars, so that should help out with my assault. And that is it. So now we're going into the assault phase. Okay, so the assault near town, I lost my 4 guys going in, but I did take out one of the Panzer Grenadiers, putting them onto last stand, but they have got the HQ right next to them. Over here I managed to get rid of the 8cm mortar, also putting him onto a last stand, and it took out a scout car as well, which they've had to pull back. And that is it for my turn, so now we're going to German turn 3. Okay, so second platoon of the Grenadiers are pinned over here, and 8cm mortars and the platoon in here have run away. So that is it. So now we're going to German turn 4 movement. Okay, right, so we have German. Sorry everyone, Rich is really enjoying a pumpkin pie that Sherry made, so it's really good, so shout out to Sherry there for making that for us. This Grenadier platoon here has gone into the building. They've left their half tracks behind. These Vesps have failed a blitz move. These Tigers, being very cautious of the Shermans, are hiding. HQ remains stationary. These guys did a cross-country dash and then did a follow me. These guys did a blitz move, so they're going to have full rate of fire on their cannons, and that is it for the shooting phase. So, sorry, not shooting phase, we haven't done that yet, so now we go into the shooting phase. So thankfully my smoke is really causing Richard headaches. Also, he's very hungover as well, which also I'll take full advantage of that. So now we're going into German shooting phase. Okay, German shooting's been quite good. Basically everyone here has been mullered, thanks to the scout cars and terrible saves on my part, but the platoon remains intact but pinned. These Vesps here fired and managed to get a hit on the Stuarts, but they actually bounced it, and that is it. So we go into American turn 4. Okay, American motivation. That Stuart is finally back in. The gentlemen in the church have rallied, and we have this platoon not rallying for the first time. So they're going to have to dig in, and they're going to have to move some things around, but it's not looking too bad for the Americans in turn 4. Right, American movement. This Stuart is moving up. These Shermans here can actually see one of the Tigers, so they're going to have a pop at that. My OP is back here to spot for artillery, and my glider troops failed to dig in. Over here, the remnants of 1st Platoon and the HQ are now in this building, and that is it for movement. So now we're going into shooting phase again. Okay, American shooting. I've managed to kill a Tiger with the high velocity rounds. I've only bailed one of the Vesps. I've killed one of the HQ teams, so they're pinned, and I've killed one of the teams in this building here, so they're pinned, and I killed a whopping 2 with my regular mortars here and bailed one of the scout cars. So no more last stands unless this Vesp doesn't get back in, but again just grinding them down now. So we go into German turn 4. Okay, German turn. The guys here have popped in their ambush. Obviously we can see with the motivation. Oh, this is motivation. The scouts run away, and luckily the Tiger did pass his motivation first time of asking, but pretty much all the Grenadiers are pinned apart from the HQ. The Vesps are back in now, so that's good, and that is it. So I think you just did your movement as well, didn't you? So yeah, that's it for movement. These guys are the blitz onto the hill. These guys are already there, and the Tiger failed his blitz. So that is that. So now we're going to German shooting. Okay, German shooting. Basically everything on this hill. The Stummels went into the platoon. Luckily didn't kill anything, but then the scouts basically killed both my HQ teams, but luckily the HQ passed over to the platoon. Yeah, very good, these scout units over here. Over here, again, the bazooka team got killed, but they still remain enough guys over here to do some damage, hopefully. And that's it, so now we go into American turn 5. American motivation, everything is rallied and my aircraft are back in and they're going to try and spot onto that hill hopefully, and that is it. So we're going into American movement. Okay, American movement, finally Stuart has caught up with his friends. One of my Shermans is staying in the street to fire at his HQ, and these gentlemen here are moving out to hopefully bait a tiger to come out and play. But no, my luck, he'll pass a blitz and pop the only ones who can actually kill him, but it's high risks game here. The other glider troops over here have dug in, and these guys at the moment might just go to ground. So that is it. We now go into shooting. Okay, American shooting, I've managed to pick off the HQ in here and the 2 Vesps, and that is it. Oh, I managed to range in using my spotter for the priest right by here. I managed to bail a Stummel and kill one of the scout cars, and over here only 2 teams left in this building and 2 teams left in this building. They're pinned again as they've always been, and that is it. So hopefully the tigers might come out to play now. Okay, so German motivation, the tiger just about past the last stand on the 2. These guys have rallied, the 7.5 is back in, but these guys remain pinned again. So we go into German movement for turn 5. Okay, so German movement, there's only one movement, and that was a successful blitz here. So he's going for my guys. Here we go. Okay, so the tiger came out, got 1 hit because it's long range. I fobbed it off into a regular Sherman and I only went and bounced it. Loving that front armour on the late war Shermans. And other than that, he got a few hits on my HQ and platoon with the Stummels, but unfortunately no kills. And these guys are going to ground. So, and top it off, he failed a shoot and scoot as well. So it's all on to me to try and get rid of him. So we go into American turn 6. Right. American movement, the Sherman platoon is moving up. All short range, open sights now on that tiger. One of the Stuarts had to move to make way, and my OP is in because I had no motivations to do. And that is it. Oh, and the HQ and the remnants of this platoon are now in this building. So if I was to bail this tiger, that would be enough, because they can come out and ask him to surrender. So that will be it for my movement. So now shooting. American shooting. The tiger is he's bailed, but because I moved those guys here within 4 inches, they're just going to come out and ask him to surrender. And he is blocking defensive fire, unfortunately. These guys lost their Shrek. But they still have Panzerfaust and intact. I ranged 2 artillery batteries on this hill, and I've bailed 4 of the Stummels, and my regular mortars managed to kill another guy here. So we'll have to check the range on this team here to see if they need to do last stand checks, just to double check. So it's into German turn 5. Okay, German movement, these guys are coming from, they're launching an assault into here, everything else remains stationary, drawing line of sight onto the HQ and the platoon on the objective. But luckily, I have a Sherman platoon on the objective now as well, it's just I need to clear stuff away. German shooting, the Stummels have got the platoon in here down to just a bazooka, so it's just a bazooka and a HQ team here now. And 1 hit on my guys in the woods, but no kills, so we might have an assault on our hands. Okay, so the assault went in, only 1 team went in, he got hit but he passed his save, he then failed to kill anyone, and then I failed my counterattack. So we just ended up standing off from each other, and that is it. So we now go into American turn 6. Motivations, these guys here have passed their last stand, and my gliders have passed their motivation up into the forest. No aircraft spotted this turn, so I might have to do some other stuff. So we will come back to you in the movement phase. American movement, I have dug in my glider troops. I'm going to play it cautious with these lot over here. My Stuarts have done a tactical and they've moved to here to do other stuff later on, hopefully. So we go into shooting phase. Also in the movement phase, I moved my HQ and the bazooka back here. I threw a lot of firepower into this building. The Shermans, the Stuarts, the 10.5s, the priests failed the ranging. I took out another 2 Grenadiers in this phase, and both my mortars ranged in over here, trying to get them. So my single mortar ranged in on the house, and my other mortar ranged in the courtyard. So whichever way they move backwards, if they can, because they're pinned now, I shall catch them. So that is it. So now we go into German turn 6. German motivation, this platoon here has managed to unpin, but the other guys are still pinned in the terrace building over here, and one of the Stummels is still inactive. So we go into German movement. German movement, after failing the blitz, the 7.5s have moved down the hill, so only one of them can shoot at the Stuarts. The remaining Grenadier platoon over here that has rallied is going to assault my glider troops. They've done a follow me, so no shooting. Over here, the half-tracks have moved around here to try and pick off my HQ that's in the building, and that is it. So we go into German shooting, turn 6. Okay, shooting over here, the HQ got hit again, so we have to swap to the remaining bazooka team here. So this team, again, is last standing because there's only 2 of them left, the LMG and the bazooka, and we're going into an assault over here. Okay, so over here, 1 defensive fire shot went through and killed. 2 successful swings for the Germans took 2 of mine out. I counterattacked and finished, but these guys are last standing as well now, so not looking great for either of the glider platoons, all last standing, but luckily with their nuts it's going to be a 3. So we go into American turn 7. Okay, so I failed my last stand with the glider troops over here, so they are gone, and these guys did pass their last stand, and that is it. So we go into movement. Okay, trying to close it out. So the Shermans have moved and the Stuarts have moved to engage the Stummels, and that is it. So I'm still on the objective. I can cover myself if they try to assault me. So artillery needs to do its job by here, and the Stuarts all using stabilizers, but this gonna be down to it by here. Okay, artillery has whittled these down to 3. Almost had a really good run with the Shermans on them, and another half track is down. Over here I managed to kill 2 of the 7.5s and bail 2 more, so at the moment there's only 1 active, well, it's all on it here to get these back in, so we'll do that and then we'll get into the rest of the German motivation. Okay, so unfortunately none of the Stummels got back in, and then being Greyhound, even, well, the 2 wouldn't have been enough, but they broke and have run away, giving the Americans a victory. Now, even though the Americans have lost quite a few men, they have only lost 1 platoon, given a stunning victory. So very good. Thankfully, dealt with the Tigers well enough.
Yeah, well, I dealt with the Tigers.
Very hard game. It was very power play. Artillery, I think, came into it very well for me. Man of the match, I'm going to give it to the 3-man mortar section, just for the amount of pressure they put on this farm. I think they took out a half track, which led to them last standing and failing, and they whittled down this platoon enough that enabled me to not have to bother with them. Honourable mention to the high velocity rounds. And thing. Man of the match for you, Richard? Most valuable player, sorry.
Really, stood out. I mean, that armed platoon stuck around, but what do you reckon, Rob?
I think the Stummels. Yeah. I think they came in and they really punished these guys in the building to the point where I had to break off, and you could have easily killed them.
Yeah, actually I would say the Stummels. I love the Stummels. They're cheap, they're great for ambushes, and they're quite versatile because they can be anti-infantry or anti-light armour.
Yeah, so. It's just unfortunate they didn't get back in, but it was up against them with a lot of armour ready for them. But my firepower's also let me down as well, only getting 1 with the Stuarts with a lot of hits, but it was nice, and it's nice to have front armour 7 Shermans bouncing Tiger rounds, a long range mind, and the glider artillery was very fun to play as, and in general having veteran American troops and basically having as many as you get in a glider formation, like your standard rifle platoons, but hitting on threes. Very good, really enjoyable. So thanks for watching, and we'll catch you back next time.